It's been a while, but we're
Yes,
glad to be back with you. This is the Waiting All Day for Sunday Night podcast. East Chase Younts at Younts Chase 32. I'm Alex Frank at Frankie_Natty. Chase, the last time we were with you was before divisional playoff weekend.
Wow, that's crazy to think about.
Needless to say, a lot has happened. But before we begin, let's congratulate the Seattle Seahawks,
Yep.
Jody Allen, and the Allen estate, and Sam Darnold, Mike McDonald, John Schneider. Well-deserved, Chase. They were the best team in the NFL all season.
Yeah, no, they were great. They were great. Their defense truly won them that game. Sam Darnold played some, pretty good football. Wasn't anything that blew you out of the water, but it wasn't anything that lost them the game. But their defense was a story, and I can't believe that game was a month ago. Is all I gotta say. I mean, it's crazy, man. Life goes wild, and you don't think about it that the Seahawks are Super Bowl champions. But yeah, man, that was a great season for them.
No question about it. And we got a good show coming up for you today. Sorry, it's free agency, so you can imagine the phone goes off. The Bengals, they made 2 signings today. Monday, they signed Bryan Cook at safety, Boye Mafe, edge rusher from the Seattle Seahawks, Cook from the Kansas City Chiefs. 2 Super Bowl champions they have. So we'll talk about the Bengals. We'll talk about their division rivals, the Ravens, making a rather big splash on Friday night in pre-free agency. And then we'll get to who won today in free agency. And if we have some time, maybe we'll give some marketing pitches like we like to do in the offseason. But Chase, wow. The last time we were on was prior to divisional weekend. Obviously, a lot's happened since then. What is your biggest takeaway from the rest of the playoffs? What's happened so far in the offseason, combine, and then free agency?
I mean, I don't have much in terms of how the playoffs ended from divisional weekend. I mean, just great football. It pretty much showed that the Rams and Seahawks were the 2 best teams in that conference, and we're going to have some great battles and probably a great battle on Sunday Night Football next year between those 2 teams. I truly think the Broncos would have made the Super Bowl if Bo Nix would have been playing in that game. I do. But again, that's a conversation for, I think, a completely different time. Again, I think going into the offseason, it's interesting just looking at how other teams would try to adapt and see how the Seahawks, how they invested in their defense in the draft and a little bit in free agency and just a mixture of all that stuff and how teams are able to build a blueprint to win in the National Football League because not everybody has a Patrick Mahomes as their quarterback. And again, it takes time to build a defense over, in a draft and in free agency. But if you have smart people that are working in a front office as well as great football minds, you can free up a lot of money and you can make some big time acquisitions that can change your team a difference of night and day. That's my biggest takeaway going into the offseason, because if you don't have people that are, good people that can run an organization functionally and good football people that can obviously, be able to come together and make something great, you're not going to succeed in the National Football League to the highest level that you want to.
You got to have the right people in the room, whether that be in the front office, whether that be on the coaching staff, whether that be on the roster. I think for me, excuse me, sorry. I think the thing for me that I've taken away so far is the fact that I lost my train of thought there. But you mentioned that not everybody has a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes. Not every team has a quarterback like Joe Burrow. So you're seeing teams have to get creative in the way they build a roster. Someone brought this up to me today. Draft for talent, sign free agents to fix problems. Yep. That makes so much sense to me because you can draft to fix your problems. Like obviously if you're drafted number 1 overall, but there's no guarantee that rookie is going to be a hit like you envision. If you can sign a veteran free agent like a Bryan Cook who has played in 17 games in each of the last 2 seasons, then it's like, oh, okay. And then you get a guy like Boye Mafe who now is going to be the best pass rusher on his defensive line, which he wasn't in Seattle because you're playing with Leonard Williams and Uchenna and Owusu. That's what free agency is for. And as the NFL has continually evolved over the last decade, we're seeing that. And it's good to see the Bengals today, at least, really embrace that and understand, hey, we got to, sign some guys in the room. We got to sign some veterans. And Chase, the biggest thing for me is that the guys they signed today have both won Super Bowls. And I can't tell you how important that is for the young guys on this defense.
Oh, 100%. I mean, when you think about it, again, you mentioned the young guys on this defense. A lot of these guys, pretty much everybody from on this defense right now was not on that 2021 Bengals Super Bowl run team. Trey Hendrickson was the last domino that fell apart. It's going to be interesting to see who signs him, going forward. But, it really is something to look at in terms of signing a guy like Bryan Cook, who knows about the city of Cincinnati. He played for the Bearcats. He, obviously was with the Chiefs and was a big part on their defense, being one of those young guys in the secondary, especially his rookie year, that really came on. I mean, that was one of the big reasons that people, they kind of brush it. I don't say brush it under the rug, but they look at it and they're like, man, I mean, the Chiefs kind of got lucky, this, that, or whatever you want to say, but their defense and their secondary in 2022 is what really made that leap and bound, because they were a young unit and, in the first half of that season, and they got thrown in the fire. And guess what? They found a way to mature in that moment. And then they started making plays on the back end. They started being confident. And Bryan Cook was one of those guys. And over the course of time, they've trusted Bryan Cook. And you've seen him make some big plays for the Kansas City Chiefs over his 4 years with them. And then on the other side with, Boye Mafe, you're looking at, people will be like, oh, man, you signed a guy $20 million a year to have – he had 2 sacks last year. Like you mentioned, he wasn't even the best pass rusher in his room. But the previous 2 years combined, in 23 and 24, he had a combined 15 sacks. So again, and he wasn't even one of the best pass rushers on his team. He's going to be the best pass rusher on this team more than likely this season, unless like a Shamar Stewart or Miles Murphy has a breakout. But it's going to be interesting to see how, he's going to have a chance to tee off on some people. He's going to have a chance to, he's going to be that guy that people are going to watch out for. Like, okay, this is probably their best pass rusher. We'll see that we're going to get, we're going to put our best guys on him blocking him. So I don't know. Those are 2 really good signings I think the Bengals made today, truly. And that's all you could ask for right there. The fact that they're looking at some of these guys that are like, you know what, Bryan Cook, very viable option, quality safety on the back end, love it. Boye Mafe, played on the Super Bowl team, had 15 sacks over 2 seasons, and was a quality edge rusher, for the Seahawks as a secondary guy. I mean, not much more you could ask for in terms of a start for the Bengals.
What's interesting is you think about last year, on the first day, they signed TJ Slayton and Oren Burks. And I think everybody thought, okay, this is them probably thinking they don't need a whole lot. Maybe they just got unlucky this season prior. That's how they felt. And you felt like, okay, those are 2 okay signings. Maybe it's going to lead the way to something bigger. And the only big thing, which albeit it was Jamar and T, which great. Excuse me. But for me, I think this year it sets the tone that they understand they're not close right now, or they weren't coming into today. They were not close to being championship caliber on defense. I mean, I said to myself today, think back to early November, and you ask yourself, who in the world can they build around on this defense? I mean, they had released Logan Wilson. They were starting 2 rookies at linebacker that looked lost, to put it nicely. They had a defensive line that could not get any pressure. They had a secondary that couldn't cover anybody, couldn't stop giving up explosive plays. And so we think about what they did today. Remember Mike Brown's letter at the end of the season, where he said Duke Tobin and Zach Taylor are the right people to get us back to championship contention. Think back to Duke Tobin and the Combine. We have the resources to attack the offseason in a big way. Chase, they're backing it up. I mean, they're rolling out the cash.
On day one. Yeah, they certainly are.
I mean, yeah. And you've got national people that are happy about the Bengals. I mean, you got Mon tweeting the days of shopping at Walmart are over for the Bengals. We are moving up. I mean, this is a good, solid start.
Yeah.
And, it's interesting to me. The plan that the Bengals utilized in 21 to rebuild their defense was get leaders and captains and guys that have won before. Well, they're going back to that today. These guys have won the ultimate prize. I mean, they got rings.
Yeah, exactly. They know what it takes to get to that, and they've been around coaches that can do it. They've been around players that have pushed each other, and on top of it, I mean, they've shown that we're going to pay a lot of money for Bryan Cook because he's a quality player. We're going to pay a lot of money to Boye Mafe because he's a quality player, and those guys have experience. They know that some of that stuff can rub off on them, and they know that there's some younger guys. I say younger guys, but they're coming off their first contracts and everything else. So on top of it, it's like, let's see what these guys have to offer, and let's embrace them here in Cincinnati. Let's embrace these guys and try to win some football games and help them be a big part of the defense. I still think the Bengals are, they need to go after a linebacker in free agency. I don't think they can't run it back with Demetrius.
Even if you draft.
Yeah, even if you draft. That's
Sonny
cool.
Styles, fine.
But I'm
him a veteran.
I'm gonna tell you this. And again, it's like, I get a veteran and everything, but man, I think they need one more swing, one more big splash and a swing. And do you want to take a guess on who I think I'm saying?
Devin Lloyd,
100%.
Absolutely,
100%. Easy.
You want to talk about a guy that was on a division-winning team last year. You want to talk about a guy that is rapidly ascending. That's why I love the Bryan Cook signing so much, Chase. He's just entering the prime of his career, and the Bengals are saying, we want you to spend that here in Cincinnati. They rolled out the money for him. You do the same thing with Devin Lloyd. Now you're talking, and then all three levels of your defense, you say, that guy's a difference maker. That guy's a difference maker. That guy's a difference maker. That's what you need.
Yeah, and you think about it, that would, if they sign a linebacker in Devin Lloyd, you go on ahead and you've got a guy at every single level. Obviously I know not corner or interior defensive line, but then it's like, okay, I don't necessarily think the Bengals need to go out and get a starting corner right now. I think they're rolling with DJ and Dax, but again, you could go whatever way you want with that. DJ Turner, I think, has solidified himself as a starter on this team.
Absolutely.
A very, a guy that they want to give him.
His numbers last year were insane.
They were awesome. It was at one point on pace, I think, 7 weeks through to have the most passes defended in NFL history and break Darrelle Reeves' 09 record. That 09 record where you saw that graphic that NBC made.
NFL Throwback has a video of.
Exactly. So I will say, obviously, you want to figure out stuff with Dax Hill and everything else, but it really does open things up in terms of, okay, if the Bengals are drafting on defense, at pick 10, which is what is going to happen, you have the option to do a lot of things. You can go after and get an edge rusher if you want to, another one to try to bulk everything up. You can go after another linebacker like a Sonny Styles or something like that. You can go on ahead if Caleb Downs is somehow there at 10, which he could be. Then you can go get Caleb Downs and you can move Jordan Battle to that. But again, from what Al Golden was talking about, it sounds like Jordan Battle is going to be a starter. Okay. It sounds like he's going to be a starter next year. So maybe drafting a safety 10 overall might be out of the question. But then you could pivot to, let's just draft the best defensive player available at that point. That's what you want to, and that's what you're talking about. You want to sign free agent needs, like you mentioned earlier, Alex, and you want to draft the best players available that will help your football team that are like, you know what? We don't necessarily don't need it, but this guy's going to make us instantly better than what we were last year.
The whole point of free agency, like I mentioned earlier, is to be in a position where you can draft BPA.
Yeah.
Because I think you and I can both agree, if you draft BPA, you have a chance of hitting on a player better than if you're drafting for a need.
Yep.
You heard that? You remember that John Harbaugh quote? You're drafting a player that, if all works out, is going to wear a gold jacket. Yep. That has to be your approach. And for me, Chase, Jeremiah Love.
I mean, if the Bengals fix the defense in terms of free agent in terms of building at every level, it's there. It's there. Jeremiah Love's there. That's what I'll say.
It's free agency to me. It's become the new. I don't want to say the new draft, but it's become more of the way to fix your problems. Like the draft should almost be viewed as like a luxury for NFL teams.
Yeah, and on top of that, I if they don't decide to go offense in terms of like getting Jeremiah Love, I wouldn't turn away from the LSU quarter Delaney. I wouldn't turn Delaney.
I was going to ask you about Mansour Delaney because I think
Delaney. Yeah, sorry.
You're fine. I've heard different.
I wouldn't turn away from it. I truly wouldn't because
I wouldn't turn away from Marvell Reese.
I don't think he's fallen that far. I think he's good.
You're right.
I think he's like top 3.
And if Tennessee gets him, that defensive line all of a sudden is menacingly good.
Oh yeah.
Give the Titans credit, Chase. They've had a good day so far.
They've had a good day. The Steelers have had a good day. And I know we'll talk about the division in a little bit, but I mean the Bengals.
You know who else has had a good day? You know who else has had a good last 2 weeks?
Who?
The Houston Texans.
Yeah, they have.
David Montgomery, shout out Cincinnati native.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then Reed Blankenship. You know who has not a good day though? The Eagles.
Yeah. Howie's probably brushing his teeth at 9:00 p.m. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna go on ahead and somehow try to. I don't know. Let's trade for Myles Garrett. He's gonna find. I'm kidding. I'm joking.
I wouldn't put anything past Howie.
That's what I mean. That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't put anything past him. Obviously not. But like he's gonna pull off price.
I mean, they already made Jordan Davis the highest paid nose tackle in NFL history, which I think is a good signing.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, Jalen Carter's receiving calls. Doesn't mean they're gonna trade him, but
I wouldn't
receive calls. Yeah,
I wouldn't. Do you like the moves the Raiders made today?
Yeah,
you do.
Yeah, I'd say I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like the guys. I just don't know if I like how much they paid for them.
I mean, when you're a bad team like that, you're gonna have to
correct.
So that's what part of it is. I mean, Linderbaum, I think is I like that one. I like that.
I think that's a good. The more I think about it, they had to overpay for him. He's a great player. Small arms be damned.
Especially a good center for Mendoza too. I mean, Mendoza's already his football IQ is ridiculous, but again, you had a center that you can, that's something that people don't really think about. I think the average person doesn't think about a whole lot, but I think a guy at the line of scrimmage that, can really, help out the offensive line and protections, a young quarterback like that. So I think that signing is huge.
I have a friend who tells me he's a Raiders fan. I have a friend who tells me that he wants the Raiders to sign a bridge quarterback, and then they start the season so Mendoza can learn behind him. I'm like, are you out of your damn mind?
Yeah, he's not the guy to do that with.
You don't draft the quarterback number 1 overall just to have him sit on the bench. Gone are those days. Like it's not like a Palmer Kitna situation. It's not like even a Mahomes and Alex.
I mean, it's not any of that. I mean, it truly isn't. And on top of that, I mean, I don't know where they would go with that. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I don't know where they would go with like a bridge.
Would you want to see DJ Reader back in Cincinnati?
I wouldn't mind it.
Okay.
I wouldn't mind it.
I would like it.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm not mad that they didn't get John Franklin Myers. The fact that Tennessee won that, tip of your cap, move on.
Yeah. You move on.
But the Seahawks signing Rashid Shaheed, great job by them.
Yeah, definitely is. Definitely. And
game changer.
Back to the Bengals. I think I would more them. What would you rather have happen? Would you rather have them sign a linebacker over drafting a linebacker, or sign an interior defensive lineman? And then they sign an interior defensive lineman and draft a linebacker, or draft a linebacker, or sign it into a linebacker, or draft an interior defensive line. I don't know what I'm talking about right now.
Sign both in free agency.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I mean, keep spending. You know what I mean? Because then if
it's like Devin Lloyd and DJ Reader, if it's
I'm with it.
Leo Chenal and DJ Reader.
Yep.
Good.
Chenal, Devin Lloyd's obviously like that's the one where I'm like that's the dream, and it could happen. But yeah, if it's Leo Chenal, I'm not mad at that at all. You know what I mean?
No.
So,
I mean, a stalwart on a championship defense.
Again, another guy. Yeah. So I don't know.
What's so great? You know what's so great too? I think, Chase, let me cut you off there. The moves that you've made today are a product of having your offensive line fixed.
Yeah.
It's the foundation that's in place, so you can focus on what you really need to focus on.
They don't need to worry about anything offensively in free agency. They don't have to worry about any of that. They truly don't. I mean, they don't have to worry. No. Offensive line's fine. Receivers are cool. Running backs fine. Obviously, you got your quarterback and stuff. I think the only thing they really have to worry about is their backup quarterback. That's going to be the big thing. Backup quarterback. It's
going to be interesting to see.
That's because again, Flacco wants a back. He wants to have a chance to compete for a starting quarterback job.
I don't blame him,
and I don't blame him either. So. Again, I mean, I know Arizona just signed Gardner Minshew a little bit ago, but I mean,
Arizona's got a world of issues, as we know.
They do, and again, you think about it, like the backup quarterback will be interesting because obviously Jake Browning's they should not bring him back, and they let him test the market. So then, I think where you look at it is if we'll talk more draft stuff like on another episode when we get closer, but. If the Bengals figure out a lot of their defensive stuff and they go draft a guy in the first round on defense, who's to say they can't go draft, a speedster receiver in the second round that can fit for the number 3? I don't think Andre Yoshivas is the answer at 3.
It's unfortunate because I still think he has untapped potential. I just think he hasn't been able to put together what we see in training camp. And you and I know this, the last 2 seasons in training camp, he's flashed, and good for him.
Yep.
But then the season starts and he just can't. He just hasn't been able to put it together.
He's not a true slot guy. We need a guy that can one take top off the defense, but 2.
And if you're not a slot guy, there's no place for you because we have Chase and Higgins.
And Chase can play in the slot too.
Correct.
I mean, we're not gonna exclusively just play Chase in the slot the whole time. He's too good to not have that.
You have to put him one-on-one.
Exactly.
Because if you somehow are playing in the Super Bowl, I want him one-on-one against Trent McDuffie, and I'll take my chances any day.
Yeah, exactly. So again, it goes back to literally if some of those guys are some of the Indiana guys, honestly, like Surratt or an Omar Cooper or something like that are available, second, third round. Casey Concepcion. I mean, those guys.
What you do is you wait till next year, you trade up and you draft Jeremiah Smith.
Yeah, it's pipe dream, but that's a pipe dream.
A man can dream. 2 more questions. Do you like the Chiefs signing Kenneth Walker?
It's interesting because I thought they were just going to go and draft Jeremiah Love, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
It's a great signing, and it pissed me off a lot as a Bengals fan. But again, I thought that they were just going to go on ahead and draft Jeremiah Love, and then spend that money.
I think they'll take Cardinal Tate now.
There you go. I mean, they need a receiver. Yeah. So they just got their running back, and then they can draft a receiver that's young. So they draft him. They draft him or Jordan Tyson. They can go a lot of different options there.
I'm not as high on Tyson as I am Cardinal Tate. Now you've seen Jordan Tyson being a Big 12 guy. I mean, I am too.
I just don't think Cardinal Tate's going to be there at 9. He might not be there at 9. So
that's fair.
Tyson. So I mean, I think either way, I think they're fine either way. I think. If they get Tate, it's going to be more dangerous to their offense. That's what I mean. I think it'll be more dangerous to their offense if they get Tate. But I don't see Tyson going over Tate in the draft. But
Carolina signing Jalen Phillips. They're here to play.
They are. That's a lot of money right there. But we also did play. That is a lot. But again, they're ready. They're good. You know what? They're like, let's get after it. So I don't hate it one bit.
In a division that is not very strong, they could easily win 11 games because you can win 6 in that division. Now you are going to play a first place schedule.
Yep.
But like Bryce Young's ascending, Teteroa McMillan's the best receiver that no one talks about.
Yeah.
And
I got two quick ones. Tua to Atlanta, thought.
Love it.
Yeah.
I think he fits right in with that offense.
I think so. And then where do you want to see Kyler Murray go?
Whichever team has a Call of Duty thing in their locker room.
You know who I was going to – yeah. You know I was gonna say it's an interesting one. I think Minnesota.
Minnesota's been thrown around there. Personally, I'd love to see him in Cleveland because then he'll just suck there. So
No,
I hope he doesn't because I genuinely think he's actually a good quarterback.
I do think Cleveland has a good young team. I truly do. I think they have a good young team.
You think so?
Yeah, I think they drafted well last year.
On defense, sure.
I mean, they got Quinshawn Judkins, Dylan Sampson, Harold Fannin Jr. was really good last year.
It's fine.
I mean,
they don't have a true number one wide receiver.
Well, they can go get I mean, that's what I mean. Like, they can go get number one in the draft. So I think and the Browns'
their offensive line's a mess.
That's the big thing.
Myles Garrett's only getting older. I mean, that's.
I mean, we saw Reggie White get older too, and he was still good. So,
well, Reggie White's Reggie White.
Myles Garrett's Myles Garrett. So
that's fair. I mean, that's fair.
I'm not saying the Browns are going to be good next year. I'm just saying that I think there's a lot more there than most people would think. But also, again, the Cleveland Browns thunderstorm of clouds that are sitting over top of that franchise. That obviously turns a lot of people off, and I don't. That's me too. But I'm just saying, don't be shocked if there's some good players over there. Just saying.
The Browns did have a good draft last year. Again, they just, and this goes to show you when you don't have a quarterback, what it can do for you.
Yeah, no, exactly. I agree. I don't think Shitter's a guy. I don't think he is.
I don't know, and the fact that I don't know. But like when Andrew Berry at the combine says quarterbacks in play every year for us, you wonder why you can't ever get stability there.
Exactly.
You let your best player out of the building in Baker Mayfield.
Yep.
Which I still don't understand. By the way, we haven't even mentioned the team that won the day in free agency, or at least the team that I think won the day in free agency.
That is
San Francisco.
Mike Evans, yeah.
That is such a good pickup.
Yeah. That's gonna be a weird team, not in a Bucs uniform, but
he's just more another team that wears red. I mean, it's not gonna be that way.
It fits. Just hopefully that substation isn't anything crazy, but still, I think it's a good signing. I really do. I like.
It's like Cooper Kupp to Seattle-esque, if you ask me.
It is. It definitely is, and he's a guy that again, he's got a good veteran, been around the league, still reliable when he's out on the field. So gives Brock Purdy another big target on the outside. They can win some one-on-ones. So I think it's a really good signing. But Max Crosby, Ravens,
give the Ravens credit.
Oh, big time.
For going all in. But giving up 2 first-round picks, I don't know if I like that. If they had come out and said first and second, okay, fine. But let's not forget this. Derrick Henry's older. Roquan Smith has lost a step, I think. Lamar is injury prone now.
I
First-year head coach.
I still think it's Derrick Henry losing a step and going for 1,600 yards is downright ridiculous. Like, I'm not saying, yes, everyone loses. I think everyone not everyone loses a step, but you reach that peak and then you start losing a step here and there. Derrick Henry's still a 1,000-yard back. All right. And I think that they'll take that. With Lamar, yeah, I mean, he comes with the injury-prone narrative now. But again, they're going to probably be under some sort of a system change. I mean, Todd Monken's not there anymore. They don't have Greg Roman, from the past and everything. So they're going to be under another change. But I think Minter to Baltimore fits. And I think they're going to do everything they can in the book to help Lamar out, which has been what's happened before. I don't think that's anything that's changed. 2 first-round picks that's a lot, but I think Max Crosby is nearly worth it. I think he's about worth that.
He is. I think he's the most underrated pass rusher in the NFL, and now he's going to play on a team that It's interesting. The Ravens, when I heard the Cowboys were linked to this, it's like the Ravens have outbid the Cowboys for Derrick Henry, or were more in on Derrick Henry than the Cowboys were, and now with Max Crosby. So the Ravens have become this team that's not afraid to go out and get a big fish in free agency, regardless of if they're older, regardless of, what they have to give up for him. The Ravens have become that team. It's like this team from Baltimore. You don't normally think of a team from Baltimore doing something like that, but here they are. And it's interesting to me. It's like the Ravens they've had safeties galore throughout their history. They've had linebackers throughout their history.
Yeah.
You don't normally think of edge rusher, but think about Terrell Suggs. Think about Dallas Thomas. Think about Paul Kruger. Think about Kyle Van Noy just recently. So they said, okay, we know we're good in the back end. Let's go out and get a guy that can help us up front. And let's go out and get Max Crosby. I mean, mad respect for Eric DeCosta, man. I think, and you know what? If it makes them the favorites in this division, so be it.
Yeah, no, I mean, tipped the cap. I mean, they went out there, made a big swing, and it, more than likely will pay off. And, props to them for doing that. Seriously.
Yeah. I think what's interesting for me is you see the Ravens and all the moves they've made in recent years, and you can say, well, they feel threatened by the Bengals. Well, they should be.
Yeah, no, it should.
I mean, yes, there's a reason that the Bengals and Ravens have won 4 of the last 5 division titles, and the Ravens almost won it last year.
Yep, I agree. I mean, I think every team in this division has their fears of one another in a certain way. I think the Browns match up pretty well with the Steelers. The Ravens match up better against the Browns, the Bengals. It's all has its own things. Everyone is looking at the division. That's the 3 teams you look at when you're a team that you look at your division. You're like, okay, what's the other 3 teams in our division doing? What do they have that's so well? What do they have that's not? What do we have that we can exploit against them? What are we lacking in? So everyone, they always look at that stuff. So it's, it's definitely interesting to see how that goes. I mean, when the Browns drafted a couple of corners, when they drafted Greg Newsome back in 2021 after the Bengals drafted Jamar Chase, I think that was a move that was certainly out of that. I think it was. There was, a lot of teams back then once, they saw, receivers, receivers getting drafted. They're like, we're not going to draft a receiver. We're going to trade for guys. Devontae Adams got traded. Tyreek Hill got traded. A.J. Brown got traded. Like, we need to get our guy now. We need to throw a house at them. So again, everyone looks at everyone around the league. It's a copycat league in some regards, but again, you gotta find your way around.
You do. And I mean, if this move was in 2021, I'd be like, oh shoot, because the Bengals offensive line wasn't very good. Now it's like, all right, Marius Mims, we think he's good. See how he does against Max Crosby. I'm excited for these matchups against the Ravens next year. I mean, the Bengals, they, counter the Ravens with drafting, they set the tone by drafting Burrow, Chase, and Higgins. The Ravens have countered. So this is exactly what you need if you're the Ravens. Again, yes, they gave up a first round pick in each of the next 2 years. And if this season goes off the rails, then they don't have a first round pick next year. We'll get Chase back here in a minute. I think for me, what's interesting is here we go again with the Ravens getting all this offseason hype, and Lamar Jackson's 3-5 in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, new coach now, so it's a different story. So we'll see. Obviously that talk will obviously come throughout the off season, the draft, the regular season, and everything else until it gets to the playoffs again. So that talk is obviously going to mount up, and the Ravens have got to be able to answer all those questions with play on the field.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be very interesting to see. But the Ravens, top of their roster, is as talented as anybody in the league.
Big time. Yep.
I mean, you think about in the last 3 off seasons, they've signed a future Hall of Fame running back, and I think when all is said and done, a Hall of Fame edge rusher, Max Crosby.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty hard to do. And then you also have a transcendent quarterback in Lamar Jackson. So you can't say they haven't tried to go all in.
Oh, yeah.
But it's a matter of, can they actually win when it matters? They have a first-year head coach, first-year offensive coordinator. Okay, you moved on from John Harbaugh. You're going all in. But the pressure on the Ravens to win is as great, if not the greatest it's ever been.
100%. Yep, I agree.
Okay, so we've talked about Max Crosby. We've talked about free agency. We've talked about the Bengals, who won the day, who lost the day. I mean, look, it's only day one. There is going to be a big signing sooner rather than later. But congratulations to Alec Pierce getting paid by the Indianapolis Colts. Good for him.
Yep, agree.
Where else can we go?
You know what? I think we can close out the show on. We can each give a marketing pitch for SNF.
Oh. Now, okay. So this is from my mock schedule, which I've only done one, and I may only do one this year. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you want the one I have the Sunday before Thanksgiving or the one after Thanksgiving?
Give me after. Give me the after one. Yeah, let's hear that.
Say it again. Sorry, I got
the after Thanksgiving. After Thanksgiving.
After Thanksgiving. Okay. You know, I was just in the South, right? I was on a Southern sabbatical for covering Kentucky. I was in Auburn, and then I was in South Carolina, and then I was in and then I was in Florida. And I got thinking, you know, the AFC South is pretty intriguing. At least it was that way last year.
True.
So normally the Sunday after Thanksgiving, the Sunday night game is, you know, can be in LA, can be in Philly, it can be in Baltimore, it can be anywhere. But you know what? How cool would it be to see the Texans at the Jaguars on Sunday Night Football on NBC this year?
Ooh, I like that. In
Jacksonville, Florida. Let's go Week 12. Texans at the Jaguars. Two teams at 7-3 battle for first place in the AFC South.
Okay. I rock with that. I think that's a really good place to put that game. I really think it is. That's nice.
All right. Marketing pitch from Chase. I can't wait for this.
So, I'm actually. This might not even be the first game of the season now. If we think about it, because I mean, Rams Niners is going to be in Australia. I think the opening night game, when you look at the schedule for the Seahawks, you're thinking what? They play the Chargers at home, I believe.
They do.
They play the Chargers at home. I believe they play the Chiefs at home too.
They do.
They play the Bears at home. All right.
Yeah.
We're not going with any of those. All right.
What?
So, I love this one. Mike Macdonald, coach of the Seahawks.
I think I know where you're going with this.
Defensive coordinator of the Ravens.
Oh.
John Harbaugh, former head coach of the Ravens. Now head coach of the New York Giants.
Oh, no.
Give me an opener of Giants-Seahawks.
Oh.
First game against Mike Macdonald after winning the Super Bowl.
Jackson Dart versus Sam Darnold.
Give me that. And Jackson Dart, Cam Scattaboo's return.
Woo.
Give me Malik
Neighbors' return.
Uh-huh.
Malik Neighbors versus Tariq Woolen.
Isaiah Likely now playing for the Giants and also was going against Mike Macdonald's defenses in practice. I know it's an underlying storyline. Dexter Lawrence.
Oh.
Abdul Carter. I mean, look, I think that's a very underrated game that they could throw right there. But I'm just saying, I think people are going to be really intrigued on what the Giants are doing, especially with John Harbaugh there trying to change things around. I think that one is I think that's a very good opening night game in terms of starting off, and then you got Mike Macdonald, two guys that know each other so well.
Oh, that is such a good matchup because nobody is thinking about that right now.
Truly, though, because the thing about the Giants were in so many games last year. They should have won a lot more games, but they
should have won
it.
the Denver game.
They could have won the Denver game. They could have won the Chicago game. Dallas. I mean, that's 3 more wins or 7 wins right there. The Lions game, they could have won that. That's 8 or 9. I mean, they're like, if they're able to close out football games last year, I mean, they're in a different boat, you know? Like, they're a lot closer than people would think. So
I like the moves they've made today with Tremaine Edmonds and Isaiah Likely. And, you know, if they get Sonny Styles or Caleb Downs in the NFL draft, I mean, all of a sudden your defense has some difference makers on it.
I'm just saying, keep an eye on Giants Seahawks opening night. Just saying. That's
so interesting. And even if it's not, I could see it being like a week 9 game or something like that.
I could see it if it's not that. If it's not, opening night, I could see it as I think a very good Monday night football game.
Oh, yes.
I could see a week 5 or 6 Monday night football game.
Yeah. Now speaking of prime time and television contracts.
Oh yeah.
Are you worried about SNF on NBC becoming, well, let's call it for what it is, no longer in 2026?
I'm not worried.
I'm not either.
I'm not. I think it's too big. And on top of it, NBC's invested so much in Sunday night basketball and Sunday night baseball that it wouldn't have happened without the ability for Sunday night football. I think it would be a pointless move for them to let go. I can see 2 sides of it. They're like, you know what? We already have the NBA and the MLB on Sunday nights, but I truly think that they want to be known as, guess what? It's Sunday night, turn to NBC. Why would you get rid? Why would you get rid of Primetime's #1 show for nearly 2 decades straight? You know what I mean? For a decade and a half.
There's too much at stake.
There's way too much at stake. And then again,
I'm not worried.
I don't think. And then you add the factor that if Amazon Prime tries to get it too, like, you know what I mean? Like, how do you?
I don't think they have it in their budget to do it.
That's what I mean. I don't think. And then people are going to be pissed. You know what I mean? There's going to be a lot of people that are like, dude, why are they putting SNF on Prime? You know what I mean? People will still buy it and watch. But
I'm fine with Prime on Thursday night. But on a Sunday, what makes the NFL so great is even with all these streaming platforms and ways to consume sports media and news, it's on over-the-air television, Chase.
Linear
CBS,
television.
Fox, and NBC. What a concept.
And ABC for Monday night. There you go.
Like, if NBC loses football, they already went through it once.
It was rough.
Yes, and then they lost the NBA.
Yep.
And I don't even think they had the NHL then.
And they didn't have baseball. They did not have baseball.
Well, they had to give up baseball, I think, after 99.
Yeah. So again, they went. Why would they? That's the thing. They had nothing. Now they have everything. Why would they give up the one main piece